Welcome to another YouTube video. I am Michael. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I change the fuel injector seal on this 2008 Mazda Demio. But this video will apply, or this procedure will apply to just about any car with a multi-port injection system. Not GDI or gasoline direct injection, but a multi-port injection system. Alright, especially Japanese cars where the fuel injector the rail is easy to remove. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to remove these two screws, alright, and take off all of this area, alright, and the engine, and then expose the fuel injector, and then we'll come back. Now we'll talk. But just to keep you up to speed with what is happening with this car and why I'm doing this procedure. When the engine is running, especially when you are driving and you come to a stop, you press on the brake, the idle of the vehicle is very rough, right? It gets shaky, and that is because the brake itself is using the vacuum, engine vacuum, but because the injector seal, the lower one right there, is leaking. I think it's number 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, I'm not sure, right? So because the vacuum is leaking around the fuel injector, when you press on the brake, and the brake also is using engine vacuum, you get that stuttering. Now, if this does not fix the situation or the condition, the next culprit will be the brake booster, right? But I am just fixing the injector seal because I can see visual leaks around the leaks around the fuel injector, and if you look right down there, you'll see it look wet. But when I remove this area, you will get a better look to see what is happening down there. So I am fixing the obvious problem here first, and then I watch it, because it is not that bad, and it's not every time, it's intermittent. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't, especially when the engine gets really hot. Then that's the time when it's happening. That is the time when it happened the most. All right, so I'm going to remove this area and come back and show you the fuel injectors and how I'm going to remove the rail and so forth. All right, whenever time you're going to work on your engine, remember to remove one of the cable, remove the battery cable, so that you don't have any electricity. I am not going to do that, all right, because I'm just going to go in and out quickly as possible. So see you then. What I did now is to remove the covering for the computer connection. By the way, this is the ECU. All right, this is the engine computer right here. So I'm going to remove these two, and then I'm going to use a 10mm and remove 1, 2, 3 bolts. All right, I already loosened this up already. Let's remove this. All right, so you're going to press down on this, and it comes right out. All right, and as I said, this is the connection for the ECU. Notice how this is clean, because as I say, I maintain my car properly. So this connection is absolutely clean. All right, you also want to remove this connection right here. So this is what I'm talking about. If you look closely down there, Tantan, so if I can go in, right? So on this cylinder you have some leak, and on this one out here you have some leak, and on that one. So number 1, 2, 3 cylinder is only this one little bit dry, right? So you have vacuum leak on all these 3, and it is because of the lower injector seal that is right there, right? So when you pull it out, you're going to see what I'm talking about. The injector have 2 seals. You have the upper seal that seal it to the fuel rail, and you have the lower seal that seal it to the intake manifold. So the lower seals on all these are gone, but because I'm going to change the lower one, I'm just going to change the upper seal as well. So it's upper and lower I'm going to change this morning. So the next step now is I'm going to clean up that area with some brake clean before. So I'm going to spray it down with some brake clean before I actually take off this, because once I remove this, I don't want any dirt or anything to go down in the intake manifold. So I'm going to clean out all of that area and dirt and grease and grime with some with some brake cleaner. Alright, and this is the one I'm using. This is the one I'm using. If it's not Amsoil, it's the wrong oil. So it's the Amsoil brand. Of course, you can use any brand that you choose. I'm just kidding. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead now and spray out inside here, but before I do, well, yes, and then I'm gonna remove these connections. So guys, what you want to do is get a little pliers like this, a little bird beak, and you want to squeeze the top of the connector like that, and be very careful with these connectors because you see they are in a very hot location, so most of the time they tend to get brittle, so be very careful with them. You don't want to just plug on them like that and damage it. So once you squeeze the top, then you just lift it out just like that. All right, just like that, and all of this will just move away easily and out of the way. You see the dirt and stuff that is down there, so you want to get some brake clean in there as well and clean out. Though we're going to clean them out when we remove it. The next step now is to remove these 10. They look like 12, you know. These are not 10 at all. Those look like 12. Yes, it is. So, moment out. You want to go on there. Alright, so I have them loose now. You can just take them up by hand.
That was quick.
Yeah. And what I'm gonna do, I already block off the intake with this rag, so that if you have any gas or any spill, that don't go down in your intake manifold or in your intake system. So you just want to just slightly just remove it just like that, right? And we're gonna inspect it, but just from removing it I can see that this one look damaged already, and that is why it was leaking that badly. All right, so after we remove this now, we're gonna clean up all of that air in there. Right, you can see the leak in it, Anton. You see it right here. So a lot of leak was happening, and this one, as we suspected, this one, number 3 and number 1, I think that's the number 1 is from the timing side of the engine. So this is cylinder 1, 2, 3. So we had a lot of leak on this cylinder. Go in and show them. You can see the dirt and the grease and the grime that was right inside here, and this one and this one. So all 3. Right, this one is the only one that look a little bit dry. So this is why the engine was running that rough, because it was losing engine vacuum. All right, so this is a very, very good maintenance item, and I think Mazda recommend that you do this. I think what, every 100,000 miles, and this car, no, every 75,000 miles, and this car have 82,000 miles on it. So it's a good place to start. The fuel rail out, I am not going to bother to disconnect it, right? Just turn it upside down. If you can look down in there, you will see gasoline in there. So I'm not going to pull it out at all. I'm just going to service it like this. So I actually clean up number 1 injector already, and this is number 2. And what you need to do is just pull this little clip right here and release it, these clips. Right, so just spread them apart and just pull it out, and it comes right out from this. It comes right out. So I'm gonna clean this up now, and we're gonna inspect it to see the brittleness of the rubber and show you what was actually leaking. So come Tantan. Before I go on, let me just show you. This is the rubber these are the rubbers that come from number 1 cylinder, and you can see it's very brittle and dirty, right? And look jaggedy all over. So this surface was the surface that was actually leaking. So this is the lower rubber. This is the rubber that goes to the bracket. This bracket sits over this rubber, and this one is the upper seal. So let us go over here now and look. First thing we need to do is to clean up the injector. And wash your face here. Right. So this is the kit, and you get all 3 rubber in the kit. All 3 of them that came off. So you put them there, and first one you're gonna put on is this one. Right, make sure you don't have any dirt or anything on it. I'm gonna put them up over here. So you want a little silicone spray, and this is a lubricant, right, that will lubricate the rubber so that it just slips on properly. So you put a little over the rubber, and you just slip it on. If it's not going on, I'll just turn it over, because sometimes, yeah, like that. Alright, let me look a bit more encouragement. And that is what the new rubber does. You know, it's very firm compared to the old one. Look at the older one. Look at the older one. Look at it. See, it just go right over. But the new one, it's much firmer. So you're gonna expect that it's not because you get the wrong part. All right. See, just need a little encouragement to go down. And you want to make sure that this rubber is seated properly and it's not crimped or anyway. Alright. Then now, same procedure for the small one. This little tiny one here. This is the upper seal. Right? So this seal the fuel injector to the fuel rail. That's the purpose of this one. Seal it to the fuel rail. Alright, and make sure that it's moving. Really like that. Good. Alright, and then lastly now this one. Which is this little guy right here. And if you look, these, as I said, these are pliable compared to this stiff. Understand? Easily. You put a little bit over it again, because we're going to reinstall it in the vehicle. Right? And you put on your clip. The clip goes like this. It goes like that, and it sits in this little part of the rubber like that. So that's it. So go back to the vehicle now.
Seems to be easy.
Yeah. Go back to the vehicle now. And remember, look how these face, you know. Right, this must turn to the front. They don't turn it roll like that, they're gonna have a problem. So you push this all the way down. Alright. And skip. That's it. So folks, what I'm doing, is that I'm cleaning up the mating surface where the injectors are going to sit. If you don't and put it back in this dirty area with all this dirt, you're not going to have a good seal, and the dirt is going to just eat up the rubber, and you're going to be in another problem in a couple thousand miles down the road. You understand? So I'm using a Q-tip, put a little part cleaner, and I'm cleaning this area. You don't have to worry about the outside right here, but you want to clean inside where the injectors are going to sit. Alright? And this part is the hardest part so far. I didn't know that it was going to be so difficult to clean out the dirt from this area. I have to be thinking and using my creativity. So what I did was to cover the injectors. So all of them are here, ready, prepped, and ready to be reinstalled. But I have to cover them because I don't want any dirt on it while I clean this area. I'm just showing you what I use. And you don't want to use anything to blow the dirt down inside of the engine, right? Because that is not good. That's why you have an air filter. So you use this so that you don't have any dirt going down in the engine. Alright, and that looks good. And with a nice steady hand, I'm gonna turn this. Remember, they turn that way. Alright. You line them up properly. Right. You make sure that all of them are seated properly and nice. Alright, you inspect the rubbers, make sure that they are not twisted or anything, and then you want to go ahead and tighten those. Tighten that out. You don't want to tighten one side and then tighten the next side. You want to tighten them together, right? So that you have a nice level fit. I'm just going to snug up both of them and then I tighten, right? Crisscross like that. Crisscross to make you jump, don't it? So, like that. What I did was to leave the intake shroud right here. I leave it off because I need to look at the injectors. I need to inspect them visually. So right now I'm going to start the car and we look at it, and then after I go on the road and put a couple miles on it, we'll come back and we'll check to verify that we're not having any leak. So moment of truth, let me start the engine. Alright. Yeah, that's it. And this is a cold start, people. So it's the first time. Maybe you're running a little bit rough. It's the first start from morning. The engine need to warm up first, and then the RPM will go right down. So that's good. So all I need to do now is to check and verify that I don't have any leak. As I said, I am going to drive for a while and check after. So after I drive and go on the road and we'll come back, we're going to come back and update you and show you what is happening. Alright? So see you then. Well, welcome back to the update that I promised you. Yesterday I drive up to the country, put around 50 kilometers on the car, and I am not seeing any leak whatsoever around the injectors. They look pretty dry. Alright, so that's number one. And down there, and number 4 is also dry. I'm not seeing the others, but I look at 1 and 4 and I can tell you it's a job well done. Also, the issue where I press down on the brake and the car will feel jittery, shaking and rough idling, that also disappear. Right? So the car is idling much smoother now. Alright, and I'm not getting that. And as I said, I actually figure out that it was not the brake booster was the problem. It was this indeed the vacuum leak and the injectors. So if you have a similar problem, if you are noticing leak or a wet spot, or if you are smelling gas when you open your engine bay when the car is running, then more likely you have a fuel injector that is leaking. And once that is leaking, once your car is port injected, you're going to lose vacuum. Once you lose vacuum, it's going to affect. You're going to throw off your idling and your fuel consumption. So you'll see your fuel consumption go up considerably. All right. So thank you very much, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Home and Garden Fix and Trick. All right. Big up yourself. Thank you. I'm out. Peace.